Welcome to the Insurance Producers Podcast, where we bring you the top personalized producers, insurance agents, and industry partners, giving you at least 3 takeaways to 10x your production and build your multi-million-dollar revenue books. So sit back, relax, and become inspired by the success stories and strategies of the world's top insurance minds. Let's roll. All right. Welcome to the Insurance Producers Podcast. Hey, this is my second episode where I am solo. And the reason I'm solo is because we're trying to do some research on the viewership and kind of getting some feedback from a lot of our listeners on do they like when we have people here and sharing their story and how things are going, or this one person show kind of sharing some of the producer, or myself, of course, sharing some of the stuff that we do and what I've learned on a solo version. If that is more of a what does the viewership look like between the two, I guess, is what we're trying to do some research. And so I got another solo episode. I'm your host, Cyrus Jaffery, and I'm really excited today to share my story on how I went from like a producer, very high producer, I guess, to an agency owner, and then a business owner, right? So I feel like as a producer, that's kind of your life. You're going from being a producer into potentially being an agency owner, maybe, and a producer, because you're always producing. And some people stay there. Like, there's no problem with the producer being an agency owner, or producer being a producer under an agency for a very long time. Many people have done it. Many successful people have done it. But kind of this step stairs of like what's those steps look like from a producer to then turning into a high producer, to maybe an agency owner and producer, to then being an agency owner, and then at one point, maybe if that's your dream or what you want to do potentially, how do you become basically like a business owner? Because I truly believe there's a difference between a producer, an agency owner, and a business owner and an entrepreneur in our world that's basically making some changes into how insurance is looked at. So my background really quick. So I come from captive channel. I was there for 6 years. So that's my producer life. I became a little bit of an agency owner at the end, / producer, but I was pretty much a producer. I did that for 6 years. And then I went over to the independent channel, going back into production for about a year and a half. And then I became an agency owner producer in 2020-ish. And then now I'm a completely business owner. I've got no more of the entrepreneurship of the insurance side, not so much an agency producer or owner or anything like that. So my life, that's how kind of like my thing has come around. And to kind of give you a little bit of a background about our organization. So at the captive channel that I was at, we had at the highest, I think we had like 9 or 10 employees at the highest when I was with the captive channel. I left in May of 2019 to come on the independent channel. We came with just 3 people, 1 agency. And then now we're on our we just finished 4 years, and we're on our 5th year now. And then now 5th year in, we've got all together with everything that we've got in our organization, about 130 people, and a ton of producers, ton of W-2 employees. And then we're at that business owner entrepreneurship side for me at this point in my career versus where I came from. But I think it would be good for everybody that don't know me to kind of hear that. How did that go, and what are some challenges that I kind of ran into, and what are some things we're doing today with our internal team? So just to let you guys know, we do have 130 people in our organization, but internally, people that I control, that I am the CEO for, I guess, or I'm the guy that leads all these people. There's probably about 25 to 30 of them that are more W-2 that works for one of our agencies. We own about 10 or 12 different agencies. So all those people, the 25 to 30, I think there's about 13 to 15 salespeople, and then the rest of them are more support and rewrites and admin and all the other stuff. Those people report to me, and then there's about another 90 to 100 that are more on our potentially aggregator side or the tech platform that we have, employees of that. But there's about 30 of them that are directly report to me in some certain capacity that we keep track of. So I will share as a producer, what does that look like that I look for producers? How can these producers produce at the level that we are producing, which is about 1 million a month? Internally, we write about 1 million a month in new business premium, and about 90% of it is personal lines, and then as an organization, probably another 700,000. With all of our other people that are kind of inside of our organization. So let's go back to the captive channel. So the captive channel is where I started as a producer, really, because when you start a captive agency, like either though your name is agency owner, man, you we started pretty much a scratch agency, so we had no money, so we just basically built it from ground zero, just like we did again in 2019, 6 years later, because we obviously the captive channel that we were with, we didn't own the book of business, we didn't take any of it, we didn't sell it or anything, they owned it. So when I left May of 2019, we went from pretty much, I think it was like a $6 million book down to zero, no revenue. We started from scratch, 3 employees, and we were kind of rocking and rolling. So, so when I was a producer, one of the first things that I started doing when I was a producer with this captive channel was I started with your people, with your friends and your family and people that are around you, that surrounds you, I guess, right? So started kind of a big opening potentially that got a lot of people to be like, oh, Cyrus is an insurance or whatever, and then they all came into our ribbon cutting. We had the mayor come to our ribbon cutting, but I was a producer. I would tell you, man, even though like an agency owner was name on it, but I grinded for 5 out of those 6 years as a producer on a daily basis, hitting the same things that every producer does, which our requirement was 50 calls a day. That was our requirement when we were at the captive channel. So I started with that. So we kind of had some noise. We got some people calling in and say, hey, you're in insurance now, quote my stuff. And that's kind of how we built it. And we took over a small book of business, which most of them kind of left us when we kind of started to go to different agencies around, unfortunately. And that was because unfortunately at this time, this was 2013, 2014, it was because of our color. A lot of people left, I'm from Afghanistan. A lot of you guys know me. And for some reason, man, a lot of people didn't want to work with us because where I'm from, and they had no idea. They've never met me whatsoever, but just kind of having that name and background. Unfortunately, some clients left, which it is what it is. No problem at all. It's just sad that we kind of live in that society, unfortunately. But so I was a producer for 6 years. 5 out of those years, 50 calls a day was pretty much our thing, and we were very, 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 very good at multi-lining. So our policy per customer was about 3.6, 3.7, because we were very good at selling auto, home, auto renters umbrella, personal articles policy, life insurance, disability, financial services, because our commission was set up in a way to where we got more money the more products that we had, and the more financial services and the more investments that we sold. So I had my Series 63, I believe, through Series 66. And I had my mortgage license because we were supposed to do mortgages. I had my auto, I had my home, obviously, property casualty license, and we were doing it all. So on a daily basis, we're tackling 7 to 8 different products. So as a producer, as we were doing this, we were pretty average on all of them, to be honest with you, because as you know, I truly believe that when you find your niche as a producer is when you're really going to be extremely successful. Until you find your niche, you're going to run into some hiccups. You're just going to be an average a lot of things. In our office today, our bread and butter, ask anybody, is homeowners insurance. That's all we do. We do it the best than anybody else in the country, is what we tell ourselves. And that's obviously home auto comes with it because the carriers are requiring it, obviously. But we know that 60% of our revenue is auto insurance. But our product that we go get is homeowners insurance. So as a producer, when I was with State Farm, one of the first things that I did when I became a captive agent, State Farm agent, was I did 50 calls. Out of those, 25 of those was just going out and meeting people. I still am in the same location. I'm looking at my window right now. Every one of these businesses, I had a lot of businesses around me. Every one of these businesses knew who Cyrus was. Every one of these businesses. And I was going for them for their business, but I was really looking for the personal stuff because we weren't very good at commercial over at the captive channel either. So we wrote a ton of their personal lines, home, auto, renters, and all that stuff. So everybody knew me, 25 and 25. And then we bought a lot of leads when I first started. When I first started with this captive channel, we bought hundreds of leads a week, and they were all auto leads. Okay, they were all auto leads. We bought hundreds of leads, cold calling all these people like, "Oh, I've got 5 of you guys call me. Stop calling me." Boom, hang up. Pick up the next one. Stop calling me. Right. So we got so many f bombs. It was just a terrible way to basically because I had 3 sales. So I had 2 salespeople when I started. It was 2 of them and me. There's 3 producers and then 1 service person at first, and then we obviously grew from there. But our philosophy was we're going to buy a bunch of leads. Our goal was 25, and we knew out of those 25, 10 of them are going to yell at us, 20 of them are not going to answer. The other 20 that are going to answer, out of those, we're going to get 40% quotes, and I'm going to close 1 deal a day. That was my goal, and it's still to today. Our goal as an organization is for 1 closed quote per day. That's it. If you could do that for me, you're going to hit your revenue goal as a producer. You're going to get all this. So we talk to our producers all the time, even when I was with the captive channel, is listen, as you get this going, 50 calls a day, you're going to have a lot going on, a lot of people, right? So you're going to be able to track it into your CRM system. And you're going to kind of go back and say, okay, listen, which one is the hottest deal today? Which one is the hottest deal today? And when I came in back in the day, I would go in the morning. And if I had 10 leads that I was working on that I quoted potentially, right, from the day before or 2 days before, I would reach out to every one of those people in the morning. And it was always a text or an email. It was a text or an email and say, hey, listen, I've got your quotes done. I know we're supposed to talk today. I'm very busy, right? If you're not telling people that you're really busy, that's going to come to them that, hey man, like I don't want to do business with this guy that doesn't write a lot of business. Successful people want to work with successful people. They want to know that you know what you're doing. And if you're writing a lot of business and if you're busy, they know that you know what you're doing, right? So we wrote a lot of those people. But I sent those text messages in the morning, 10 text messages in the morning to the people that I was quoting, figuring out what time works for them so I can schedule my day. So in the morning, we do this right away when I came in. We did our quick meeting. We go inside of my office. I was emailing and texting those 10 people to see what that looks like. What's my day going to look like? So we're like, hey, 2 o'clock, I can talk for about 3 o'clock. So then I scheduled myself because they're really warm, obviously. They would respond back to me, right? Because I quoted them. I built a good relationship. They would respond back to me to what my day would look like. So I had closing calls set up every day. And then my goal was which one was the hottest, which one I'm saving the most potential, which one I had a better relationship with. That would be the number one priority. Okay. We would go from the priority all the way down to bottom because I would never want to go home with not closing a deal. That was the idea at State Farm. You got to get an app on the captive channel that you're in. You got to get an app. You got to get an app. Every day you got to get an app. Like that's the bottom line, right? So, and if you're calling a household, you're probably going to get 4 apps if you're on the captive channel. But on our channel, on the independent channel, you're going to close 1 household. That's going to get you 3,000 to 4,000 in premium potentially. Times that by 5 days, you're going to be close to 15 to 20,000 in premium is a pretty good. But every day that was my goal. Figure out in the morning, send all those text messages, and then at night kind of figure out after the morning, kind of figure out where's my closing schedule, put it on the schedule, send them an email that says, hey, we're looking forward to talking to you. And then the minute before, I would never give people rates. Ever. We still don't do it in our organization. The minute before they get on the call, I send them an email with the quotes. So they have the quotes while I have them on the phone, because if they look at the quotes and the numbers don't make sense and you're not going to beat them in the rate, they're just not going to listen to you or answer back. So we never send our quotes back to them. We did it right before we called them, send them, told them to pull up the email, and then we did a comparison. So we also had a page where it was a comparison page. What you have right now, what do we offer, and what are the savings? And if there's no savings, what's the value? Yeah, you have to pay $200 more, but we're going to move you from here to here. Here's more coverages, and an umbrella policy and a life insurance policy, whatever that you want to sell. That's your difference. You're the difference maker. So that was my philosophy as a salesperson. Come in the morning, send the text, figure out what my closing days look like, and figure out the hottest ones first. Put a lot of effort into the hottest ones, and then kind of go down the line. Which one is my hot all the way down to the cold? And I would never, I promise you, there were not a lot of days that I went home without something in the books. Like that was the number one when I came in was how do I get just one thing on the board? And that comes with obviously the hot leads that you've got going on. So that was pretty much the philosophy as a producer for me for 5 years. We grew that. We were the 30th best agent in the country when we left, made all the trips, President's Club, Chairman's Circle, all the stuff that this carrier State Farm had, hit every one of those. And then we came to a point in 2019 where, okay, well, we've done this. Now I know. I was 23 years old when I started. I was 28, 29, somewhere in there. I had two kids at this point. I'm like, this is where we know which direction I'm headed, right? So listen, if you're in captive channel, man, I just met with a friend of mine yesterday, man, captive channel, dude is fire. That dude is at a different level. And I've got two or three or five, many different friends from still at that captive channel. Fire, dude. Those dudes are doing some things that are unbelievable, right? Exotic, President's Club, going to Bora Bora and all these things. And they're doing knocking out of the park. Independent channel is not for everybody, right? It's not for everybody. And there are a lot of people that are doing some amazing things at their captive channels, American Family, State Farm, man. Keep doing what you're doing. At the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning as a producer, right? Or an agency owner or wherever you're at, when you wake up in the morning, do you enjoy putting on your pants and going to work? Are you getting excited? And if you're not, your gut is what your gut's telling you is to you need to do something that you enjoy. And life is short, guys. If you don't enjoy what you do, I feel bad. You need to find what your calling is, whether it's going on your own. I know it's going to suck for a couple of years. It sucked for us, whether it's staying with the captive channel, making some changes, whatever. The people that I talked to on the captive channel, some of one of my best friends, right? And they said, hey, Cyrus, yesterday he told me, he goes, dude, I appreciate you telling me some things that you told me to kind of, you got to empower other people as an agency owner, as a high producer. You got to empower other people around you to do better, to take on roles, to take on responsibilities, because you can't do it all. Where you want to go as a producer, what you want to build as an agency owner, as a business owner, you can't do it by yourself, man. It's lonely to do it by yourself. So you got to empower other people to be able to do the cool things. So came on the independent channel in 2019. And I thought I was on top of the world, man. I had a $5.5, $6 million book with this captive channel. I was making all this kind of money. I thought I was top of the world. And then you come on this side looking back now, it's just crazy how that's probably what we do every 2 to 3 months now, like the book of business that we had. I mean, it's just crazy, like just how big you think when you move on and do different things and more of an entrepreneur and businesses and all that stuff. And it's pretty crazy looking back now. And like what I thought was, I was a President's Club, I was on top of the world, coming back now here, like, wow, this is wild. It's a crazy fun ride. So let's go back to the producers. So we came into 2019. Three of us, we left this captive channel, came on the independent channel in 2019, and we were rocking and rolling, man. Day one, we knew we were doing this for 6 months to a year. So we kind of planned and everything, got all the contracts, direct contracts. And I was a producer again for about a year and a half, man. Like I had 50, same philosophy, man. I was coming in. I had pretty much 50 leads on the board on a daily basis. Every day I had these 50 leads or whatever that I had on the board, and I ranked them from 1 to 50, right? 1 is being the hottest, 50 being not the hottest. I go to the 1 through 5 every day in the morning. 10 of those, pick 1 through 10, text them, figure out what that looks like, figure out your day for the day. Because here's my biggest recommendation for you as a producer. Don't let the consumer determine, or don't let the consumer run the show. You as a producer, when you're having conversations with people saying, hey, listen, Mr. Client, I'm very important. You're really important. I understand that. My time is valuable. I've got a lot of clients. I'm valuable as well. Here are the times that works for me. These are the times that works for me, but I'm going to text you to see what times work for you as well. Get it on the schedule. What I would also recommend when you're talking to them a day before or whatever, right? You're basically saying, hey, listen, tomorrow at 3:00, do you want to go over the quotes? Great. Then you have it scheduled already in your email. Make sure you send them an email that they invite them to it. And then a minute before you have on the call with them to close the deal, you're sending them the quotes, and then you're going through them. Don't ever send them the quotes before, because they look at it, they don't understand insurance. All they look at is the price. I promise you. So unless you've done a really good job of getting them ready to go for that, they're just going to look at it and move on. They're not going to look at anything else but the price. A minute before you call them, say, listen, I know the price is a little bit more. Let me tell you why I am the person that you should work with. Now, I haven't written a policy in 3.5 years, or do any new business or anything like that whatsoever. My job is strictly to run a business now, right? So this is what all of our producers, everything that we were doing, exactly what our producers are now doing. So fast forward a year and a half, that's what I did. Build a pretty nice little book of business, started hiring, right? Hiring. Now we're about 30 people. We started with three. So in about 4 years, every year we hire about 8 to 9 different people to come into our organization and do the things that we need to do. And we do a lot of mortgage lenders and real estate agents, right? So 95% of our business comes from a realtor or a mortgage officer with the relationships that we have. We pretty much control about 60 to 65% of the new business in our state, potentially strictly like the town that we live in, Omaha and Elkhorn and surrounding areas. 60 to 65% of those kind of goes through one of our channels now, in here, because of the relationships we have with the real estate folks and mortgage folks. So, and then the 13 to 15 producers that we have kind of handle all those leads that come in. But our philosophy, so now fast forward, right? So I was at the captive channel. I was a producer, build the brand, build it to 10 staff there, started from scratch again in May of 2019, build it again for a year and a half, stopped writing business, completely got out of it to basically be an agency owner at this point, and then started now. I'm in a position where I'm more of an entrepreneur and do some relationships and different technology things that we have going on, which is where a lot of my time spent. But I still, man, that's the one thing I miss the most is selling. I love talking to clients. Man, there is no better feeling than when you close a deal that you worked so hard on. There's just no. The deals that came in easy didn't give me the satisfaction. The deals that were tough, that took me 2, 3, 4 years of massaging these guys to come to me, there's literally no better feelings. And I miss that feeling for the last three. And I don't talk to clients as much anymore, unfortunately, but I do miss that. So as a producer, if you love doing that, if you come on the agency owner side, man, I loved being a producer, man. It was one of the best things. I miss it daily, but I know for my organization today, they need me at this position to be able to grow the organization and go where we want to go. And for you as a producer that are listening to this and want to stay as a producer, you got it, man. You got it so good, dude. You got it so good. Everybody wants to be an agency owner, entrepreneur, business owner, but you come on this side, man. Like there are times when I'm like, man, I wish I can't. I wish I could go back and do the things that I was doing because I just miss it so much. Just a born salesman, man. Now I just sell to organizations, mortgage companies, car dealerships to do relationships with us. That's what I sell now. I don't sell insurance, of course. So as for our producers now on the independent channel, some of the things that we have implemented, right? So everybody, we have virtual people across the country. There's 25 or 30 of us, like I told you on the independent channel. We have a meeting every morning. Every morning at Jaffery Insurance. The meetings are pretty simple. It's 9 o'clock to 9:15 is the max, 10 to 15 minutes, and it tells me it's at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock every day. What did you do the last 4 hours? If you guys ever read the book, The 4 Hour Work Week, our organizations, we keep our producers accountable every 4 hours, okay? Because we have a lot of young producers, and we have some producers that have obviously been in the business for 15, 16 years as well. But a lot of them are younger, and younger people needs accountability, need you to keep track of things for them, right? Need some motivation and certain things, right? So we wanted to not forget our culture, which was extremely important to us, but we wanted to build virtually as well because we have guys in Minnesota, we have guys in Wyoming, we got guys in Iowa, we got guys in Texas, our VAs are in El Salvador. So how to bring everybody together, build a culture, and still at the same time be a very high producing producer, an agency, right? So what we did was we said, hey, 9 o'clock, we're going to meet as a team, everybody, every day. And then 1 o'clock, we're going to meet 15 minutes. How did the last 4 hours go? Which obviously would be the day before if it's 9 a.m. From 1 o'clock yesterday to 5 o'clock, because that's all I'm keeping you accountable for. How did things go? What did you close? What issues did you run into? Anything you want to bring to the table? No? Cool, move on. It's quick. It's going to take 10 minutes most of the time. Boom, 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 boom. If we go to everybody, every one of our entities that we have, anything on Fair Trust, anything on NR, anything on marketing, anything on social media, anything on our aggregator side, anything on our service side, anything happened in the last 4 hours? No. And then we go around, every producer tells us what their numbers are at. I'm at 3,000. I'm at 4,000. I'm at 5,000. And I've got a bunch of closings that are scheduled that we asked them, what are some closings that you have scheduled for that? So that's to keep them accountable. It's almost turned into a culture. So first couple of minutes, like, hey guys, how's it going? Ready, excited for the day and stuff like that. Everybody loves being on there. And then at 1 o'clock, same thing, quick 10 minutes. Hey, what happened from 9 to 1? What did you close to keep them accountable? So, to the two things I want to mention real quick. What one other thing we implemented, I had Teresa on the phone on our insurance producers podcast. Teresa Kitchens from I believe she's in Florida. Incredible. I've been following her for a long time. I brought her in. Hopefully, you guys listen to that podcast. She has an all day Zoom, and this is what I'm telling you, even at the level we're at the level that you're at, you're going to learn from different people. That's what my favorite thing about the podcast is. When I bring people, I learn from them daily, and things that I like, I implement right away. Teresa had an all day Zoom for all the guys because they're virtual as well. Say we just get on, and if we need to go to rooms to ask questions, we just do that. So that day we implemented all day Zoom. All of our guys are on the Zoom. All of our gals are on the Zoom, and it's basically like it's a part of the culture. They can ask, "Hey, how did the Bills game go last night?" Or "Hey, the Chiefs won," or whatever. You're talking about stuff that can be right there with them, but they're far away, all the way in El Salvador or Texas or wherever, and we're in Nebraska. So it kind of brings the team together, which is really good. And then we also have 8 a.m. meetings every Monday morning. I've been doing that for 10 years. Always, 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 always. It's 8:15 now to give people a little bit more time. It's 8:15 to 8:40 to about 8:55. It's about 40 minutes. It's really about what last week was like. What are the numbers? It always starts with something positive, always a video, something positivity to start the meeting. Then we go to, okay, anything on service, anything that happened last week we need to know about. Shout outs. Let's give some shout outs to all the team. Give me some shout outs. Oh, John Doe took the trash out yesterday. I really appreciated that because it was really cold, like somebody says, right? So it's all shout outs, bringing team morale together to keep the producers happy, and the producers love it as well. So if you're a producer listening to this, you want to go to your agency owner with some of these ideas, please do, because it really has made a huge difference in our organization. We do shout out, and then we'll do all of our reviews for all of our organizations. How many reviews did we get? Somebody got a review, great. Hey, great job. We got to appreciate things and celebrate. One of our core values this year is celebration. Our core values with I care. C stands for celebration. And this year, our goal is to celebrate more in little things that our teams do and little things that producers do. And you should, as a producer, celebrate as well, because we go through this thing of like closing a deal, moving on, moving on, moving on. You look back, man, it's been 30 years. You've been doing the same thing and you've never celebrated your small wins. So I encourage you as a producer to be able to celebrate and all that. On those 1 o'clock and 9 o'clock meetings, I would tell you is that meeting always ends with a circle of trust. And circle of trust is, I implemented this with F3. F3 is basically a workout in the morning. They have a circle of trust. Circle of trust basically means something positive that somebody has to share. We rotate between the 25 people that are on the meetings. It's a circle of trust. This is a circle of your team, of your culture. You have to trust us. Everything that you say inside of this thing is going to say inside of this thing, right? So something positive, share whatever that you want. And we share that in a circle of trust. And then everybody's kind of bought into this, bought into, hey, this is a circle. This is a family. This is a trust. There's a trust factor between it, which is why we came up with the circle of trust. So every one of our meetings ends with a COT. So, and then at the end of it, I would tell you is at the end of the year, we always keep track of, man, I could tell you for every producer, and if you're a producer, you should see if you or somebody can keep track of this as well. What's your call ratio to close ratio? What's your quote ratio to call ratio? What's your closing ratio? We track every little thing. So I know I meet with every one of my producer at the end of the year and say, hey, listen, what do you want to do for 2024? Okay, 2023, you made whatever, 75,000. 2024, you want to make 125,000. So I need to make sure that I need to get you more opportunities to close deals, because that's how you make more money. I'm not going to pay you more. Everybody in our office is making 3,000 to 4,000 a month in a salary. The rest of their money is always coming from commissions on the producer side. So if you want to make more money, man, I got to give you more opportunities. You got to give yourself more opportunities. And then obviously I know your closing ratio because we follow that daily. So I know if I give you more opportunity, that's going to turn into more quotes. Those quotes are going to turn into more binding premium, which is going to make you more money. So then I'm going to keep you accountable in those 4 hours. So if last year you only had 10 CTEs is what we call it, call, text, and emails, I can move that to 15. So if you talk to 5 more people every 4 hours, right? It's pretty simple. One extra a day, one extra an hour, you're going to be able to hit the numbers that you want to hit, and you're going to make more money. So making more money is a no-brainer. It just takes more CTEs, more called text and emails, because that turns into opportunities turns into quotes turns into premium, and premium turns into commissions in your pocket. So it's a no-brainer. So we met with everybody. We figured out what they want to make for the next year, and then we figure out a plan for that based on CTEs and quote volumes and things like that. So, and the only other thing I would say is, as a culture, as a producer, you need to grow yourself, man. Listening to this podcast, this tells me that you want to grow. Listening to other podcasts, there's a bunch of great podcasts in our insurance world, man. Such great podcasts, such great people, man. They're sharing their wisdom, and I will tell you everything. Reach out to me, man. If I can help, I would love to help. But we have a vision board for every one of our team members. Every year we've done this. A vision board is pretty simple. As long as you write it down, put pictures on there, man, the chances of you accomplishing that thing is gonna be pretty freaking awesome. Somebody put in they're gonna write 2 million in new business this year. Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, they'd be like, I would never put that on there. But they did that last year. They put 1.5, and I can guarantee you they wrote 1.5 million in new business, because it's visionary. It's right there. It's right in front of you. You're able to kind of see it and have a goal in place of, like, breaking it down into chunks, like break it down into hours or 4 hours instead of days and weeks, is going to make your life so much easier as a producer. And that's what I do with our team members. You want to write 1.5 million? That's great. We'll divide that by monthly. What's that look like? 125,000. Divide that into weekly. That's what, 20 some thousand, 30,000, whatever the math makes sense. And then divide that into daily. What does that look like? 5,000, 7,000. Divide that into 4. So honestly, every 4 hours, you got to write one person to get to 1.5 million, because we know what average household premium is for every one of our producers and our organization as a whole. So it's not rocket science for you to be able to accomplish things, but we use a vision board to do it. And a lot of these people, man, it's so beautiful, because they put in, they want to buy houses, they want to buy cars, they want to go on vacation, they want to go to Disney World, and those things come into fruition. And us giving them the ability to have those things come into fruition, man, it's pretty powerful for me as a leader to see. And it should be powerful for you as a producer to accomplish things. That's a must. We do that every year. And then one book a month, that became our culture as well. We've read a book once a month for the last 3 or 4 years now. Every month we pick a new book. It could be inspirational, it could be mindset, it could be insurance, it could be relationships, it could be how to deal with kids. We pick one book as a team. Everybody reads it, and then we share notes at the end of the month, and everybody tells what you got out of that book, what you want to implement from that book. And that has kind of escalated us thinking for personal development. And at the end of the day, you as a producer, you want to become better next year, not just as a producer, as a husband, as a father, as a mother, as a sister, whatever that is, right? So so physically, mentally, all that stuff, spiritually, you got to be better. And you cannot be better if you don't learn how to be better. And books and podcasts and things like this is going to make you better. So that being said, that's kind of been our journey, man. How we have grown from literally zero all the way now in our organization, or whatever we have at this point. But it's been a fun ride. But it started as a producer, so I've been a producer for 6 or 7 years out of that, and that's the one thing that I miss the most. So my only suggestion with you, where I'm gonna give you a COT, a circle of trust here, is that the day that you wake up in the morning and you're putting your pants on, man, and you're ready for work, if you're not excited about it consistently for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days in a row, I think you need to think about, is this really what I want to do? Because at the end of the day, man, money is not everything. Work is not everything. There's so many more things that are more important in life: your family, your significant other, and your other things in life that you have to do. Your spiritually, what's important. It's not always about the work, man. It's not always about the money. There's a lot more things in life, and if you just open it up and see if this is just truly what I want to do, that will take you far away in life. Don't be that person, man, that falls into the trap of, hey, I'm going to get out of college at 23. I'm going to work 43 years of my life. And then from 65, 67 to 80, I'm going to enjoy my life. Enjoy your life today. Because I promise you, as a producer, you can find ways to enjoy your life. So when you do get to 65, you're not going to look back and say, man, I wasted 35 years. Don't be that person. So I hope you make that happen. Thank you guys for listening. And I'd love to hear back about feedback on this podcast. We're going to ask some of you guys on whether you guys like this me just talking to you guys with some of the ideas that we have, or do you like bringing people as well? We're going to get the data on both and see what makes sense. And we're going to keep changing it up. So thank you guys for being here.